Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Cody Proctor. Let's get started tonight. New video shows Spokane police officers in slow pursuit of a man behind the controls of a 17,000-pound machine. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk shows us how the officers managed to stop him.
Can you just stop the vehicle and talk to me some more?
This is the moment Spokane police say they found 40-year-old Matthew Cook behind the controls of a stolen rubber-tracked crawler, a machine used to carry heavy materials over difficult terrain. Police were called to a business next to the Trent shelter on East Trent, and there was some confusion at first.
I talked to some employees. They have no idea who called, and I checked the back locker and not find anybody.
Then, minutes later,
apparently he's in this big machine driving it back here with the tracks.
Police say Cook drove over a fence.
Well, if he starts destroying stuff here to you, we might know we need a Bearcat to pin this big thing.
And then took the crawler along railroad property.
They were slow speed going westbound from on the track.
Officers weren't sure what Cook planned to do next or how to stop the 17,000-pound machine. Additional officers responded, and one jumped onto the moving crawler and moved Cook's hands off the joystick. Here's the entire video released by SPD.
Can you just stop the vehicle and talk to me some more?
Never too late to do the right thing, officer. You realize you're on camera, right?
You're under arrest.
Right, you're on camera.
You're under arrest.
You got it.
Give me your hand.
Yes, sir.
Other hand.
You're on camera.
Cook was arrested and taken to jail. He's charged with theft of a motor vehicle, malicious mischief, and burglary.
You're under arrest.
Right, you're on camera.
You're under arrest.
In Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Kyle, thank you. Well, just into our newsroom tonight, at least 128 people are dead after a 5.6 magnitude earthquake just shook parts of northwestern Nepal. The U.S. Geological Survey says the earthquake took place at a depth of 11 miles. Nepalese officials fear the death toll will continue to rise as they struggle to establish contact in the area near the epicenter of that quake. Heading now to the latest from the Middle East tonight. Israel's prime minister says there will be no pause in the fighting until Hamas releases the hostages they took. Israeli ground forces say they've surrounded Gaza City as their aerial bombardment of Hamas-controlled territory continues. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated, quote, "We will not relent until we achieve our goals, destroying Hamas, returning our hostages, and returning the security to our citizens and children." Netanyahu's vow to keep fighting came after he met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who asked for a pause to allow aid into Gaza and civilians to escape.
We provided Israel advice that only the best of friends can offer on how to minimize civilian deaths.
President Joe Biden has said the U.S. is working hard to find a way to get Americans safely out of Gaza. He reiterated that call this morning. The U.S. is also working to try to prevent others from joining the fight against Israel. Israel says civilians in the north of the country were injured in a rocket attack from Lebanon. It responded by targeting Hezbollah infrastructure. Hezbollah's leaders threatened further attacks and criticized the U.S. for backing Israel. Meanwhile, more than 150,000 Israelites applied for a handgun license since the war started, compared to roughly 13,000 in the whole of last year. During the deadly massacre, some Israelis shot back, even holding Hamas militants at bay for hours. Gil Semish is one of the course's instructors.
I think October 7th changed Israel completely. And no matter how you try to look at it, we're a changed nation.
Instructors say for many Israelis, they would rather be safe than sorry. According to officials, anyone applying for a gun in Israel has to complete a 4.5-hour government-mandated training course while also registering their gun with authorities. Hopefully you spent some time outside today because the rain looks to move back in as we head into this weekend. Meteorologist Michelle Boss gives us the details tonight.
It is an overall wet weather pattern, and then we got a break today. Our next storm system is set to bring us as much as another inch of rain on Saturday, and then we have another storm system after that could bring us more soaking weather. As we take a look at satellite and radar, you can see all that wet weather headed our way. It's going to be wet tonight and a pretty soggy day tomorrow. On the positive side, snow levels are high, so we're not talking about any chance of snow, just very wet conditions and temperatures that probably won't go below 40 here in Spokane. It's going to be hard for us to warm up tomorrow, though we are going to have a warm breeze blowing out of the south and southwest. That should put temperatures up into the lower 50s for tomorrow, and we're looking at 50s again on Sunday. A slight break from the rain on Sunday before our next storm system moves in Sunday night into Monday.
As we roll back the clock, losing the daylight can negatively impact your mental health. Doctors with the American Psychiatric Association says it's not just inconvenient, the time change could affect your mental health. And in a survey, 1 in 5 Americans said they're negatively impacted by it. According to the survey, 2/3 of adults say they notice at least one behavioral change from sleeping more to feeling fatigued or depressed. The poll also found women are nearly twice as likely as men to say their mental health's been negatively affected by the fall time change.
There are also people who are going to have a more severe form of this winter blues, feeling lonely, feeling depressed, stop having interest in the things that gave you pleasure.
Doctors also recommend spending more time outdoors even as the daylight hours decrease. Frequent outdoor exercise and taking breaks to experience the daylight are some of the ways you can ward off those winter blues. Going now to Night Beat for a quick look at the day's top stories. A funeral service is planned for a Post Falls police officer who suffered a fatal heart attack while on the job. Nicholas McDaniel passed away in his police car on October 22nd. The 36-year-old only worked for the Post Falls Police Department for less than a year. Before coming to the Inland Northwest, he previously served for 13 years with the Hawaii Police Department. Grad Ilarinoff worked with McDaniel in Hawaii. He says the first time they met, he knew McDaniel would make a difference in their department.
He was very charismatic. And from that first week working with Nick, you knew that he was gonna make an impact in their community. He just did. And for those next 10 years, he certainly did.
The funeral service takes place at Real Life Ministries tomorrow. It won't be open to the public, but community members who want to support the McDaniel family are encouraged to line the procession route on North Spokane Street in Post Falls. That procession takes place after the funeral. University of Idaho students plan to hold a vigil on the 1-year mark of the murders of Ethan Chapin, Xander Kronodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez. U of I says the vigil will take place Monday, November 13th at 6 in the evening on the administration lawn. The university is asking vandals across the country to turn on their porch lights in solidarity from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. 4 students will speak at the event, each of them representing the students' Greek chapters. New developments tonight after an off-duty pilot was accused of trying to shut off engines mid-flight last month. Now passengers are suing Alaska Airlines. 3 passengers filed a class action suit calling on Alaska and affiliate Horizon Air to create more rigorous pre-flight screening of pilots. They also want an explanation from the airline about what happened. Joseph Emerson faces federal and state charges in Oregon for trying to shut off the engines while riding in the cockpit's extra seat. He told investigators he'd taken psychedelic mushrooms and hadn't slept in over 40 hours.
What the airlines may have done to try to determine whether he in fact met the criteria that are mandated for pilots. I think the message we're trying to send here is that we're trying to make the skies safer.
The lawsuit also accuses the airline of downplaying how serious the situation was. Emerson graduated from Cheney High School. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. That was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website, KREM.com. And that was also your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in